Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Absolutely delighted to be joined by my good friend Johnny Wunder. It's Arnold Palmer week. You're down working, grinding?
Been working, running around, doing all the content stuff for the tour, and now I'm here with you. It kind of feels like home base.
We're across the road from one another, finally.
I love it.
Finally, we made it happen. So we thought while we're in the same vicinity for some period of time.
Even though we live in the same town, which is weird.
Ridiculous. But families keep us apart.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. We're going to run into some of the tour products.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously been a huge year so far for you guys on tour. Some incredible feedback on the new heads.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the 4 core driver heads that you guys have put into players' hands on a weekly basis. And you know, maybe talk to us about some of the things that people might know, and there's a bunch of things that they won't know.
Yeah, there's some nuance, I would say. And you know, one of the reasons, just to get this out there now, one of the reasons we have tour heads is because we work with the best players in the world. I always use the F1 comparison. Like, you can't buy the Ferrari engine, you can't buy the Porsche engine. Same thing applies on tour, but we do have some stuff in the drawers that you can buy at a consumer level. So I guess we'll kind of start there.
Yeah.
So in my hand, I have the Rogue ST Triple Diamond LS. So LS obviously means low spin. So on tour, this head seems to fit the players that like to cut the ball or just hit it kind of straight. It doesn't, it's more of a point and shoot driver. So it's the lowest spin of the bunch. John Rahm's in this head. Kevin Kistner's in this head. We have a few guys, I mean, I would say probably if we have 40 drivers in play, 10 of them will be this head. So it's got a more fade bias CG location, which you've seen, I think, in your testing.
Yeah, definitely.
So it really works well for the players that like to cut the ball, hit a hard cut. It keeps the spin down, keeps the launch down. So, you know, when we were testing with John Rahm, this is actually kind of an interesting story. It was the final of his 3 testing. So the first testing he does, he'll set it down, hit a couple balls, and that's kind of like the looks test, as it passes the street test, right? And then they'll start digging into TrackMan and doing that, and then the final is like the finish off. Like, okay, is this the gamer test? Is
Yeah,
this
it's
gonna
got to be able
and
to
play?
hit shapes and windows.
So he hit, he had hit about 5 balls, hit them all center punch, and Jacob, who's our tour manager, kind of said, just keep this going. I want to see what this looks like after 10 or 12, 15 shots. So he hit 12 more, and you'll appreciate this, and his spin delta was 100 RPMs.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And his ball speed delta was 1. So that means he basically recreated the same shot at high speeds 15 times in a row, which is unheard of. He wasn't able to do it with the Epic Speed. He was able to do it with this one. So players like Rahm, if you guys ever watch him on TV, hits big hard cuts, likes to hit it straight, doesn't turn it over that much. That's what this head's sort of designed to complement. Yeah.
Love it, love it. So the kind of player who's looking for anti-left, or more the player who's so it's not an anti-left specifically.
It's not an anti-left driver.
It's more if you are trying to hit it on that leftward start line, moving it right.
Correct, and at the same time keep the spin integrity downrange and all those things that you hear about on tour. We don't really make anti-left drivers. That's more of a setup, open in the face and a swing path thing.
Get the hot melt in there, start to kind of manipulate a little bit of CG.
Right, we're more trying, at the tour level, we're trying to complement a shot shape and hopefully mitigate a miss if we can.
Very cool. All right, let me trade you.
Okay.
Max LS.
Max LS, so another driver you can buy at retail. So it's got a bigger footprint. It's 460 cc's. That's 450 cc's. The cool thing about this head is it's got a longer blade. I call it a blade, or it's got a, you know, it's longer heel to toe, which eliminates a little bit of face rotation. So the longer the head, the less the face wants to rotate. So this head seems to work well for guys that need a little bit more forgiveness and are actually looking to bring the launch down. So that one there has got a kind of a deeper, lower CG. The Triple Diamond L is going to kick it up. This is going to bring it down. So this is more your low launch, low spin driver. Once again, it's mildly fade biased, so it's going to enhance a fade a little bit. But overall, this is kind of like point and shoot, low spin, low launch driver. So Eric Von Ruin plays this, Henrik Stenson, Alex Noren, those guys that are just trying to keep the ball down at all costs.
Interesting, the squeezers.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So this head, you know, they talk a lot about fairway finders on tour. This is kind of like built for a fairway finder, more or less. So
love it.
That's a good driver.
Okay. Triple Diamond, but not the LS version.
Not the LS version. So if you guys remember last year, Epic Speed at retail, we brought out Triple Diamond. So this is your middle ground tour head. So it's the spinniest of the bunch here. It's the easiest to turn over. It's got a neutral center of gravity. It's 455 cc's. So it's sort of like an older cousin of Epic Speed Triple Diamond. So they didn't change too much. The biggest change, obviously, is the tungsten speed cartridge in the back, which obviously increases, you know, MOI. So the cool thing with our drivers this year is we've always had a fast face. we've always had all the cool, catchphrases, but stability's always been hit or miss. We're always sacrificing somewhere. This is the first driver, in my experience with Callaway, and studying equipment for 20 years, that has a little bit of both.
Right.
So this head is sort of like your, Taylor Gooch, Adam Hadwin, Dylan Fratelli. A lot of those guys respond to this heads because it's not extreme in any direction. It's just kind of right in the middle, and it spins a little bit, and it's kind of mid-spin, mid-launch, right in the middle. So.
And this is very Tour here. We've got the little sticker right on top.
Yep.
We've got the loft there at 7.8. It's an 8.5,
yep.
right? So all these things, when they come out of the factory, have some tolerance to them.
Yeah.
But it helps us, as fitters, when we're trying to give it into a player's hands, that somebody who go, well, I would love it if it was closer to an 8 or even a 7.5. And then we get to work with the OptiFit cog, and we turn it down a little bit more. But really cool to see 7.8 on the loft, 57 lie, head weight 196.3.
Yeah, I mean this is sort of the designation that makes it sort of like a Tour issue head. Is they're sorted for weight, for loft, and all that stuff. So if we have a player, if Ian comes on the truck and wants a 7-degree driver, so we'll cherry pick the lowest lofted of the heads. So there might be like a 7.2 head on there.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we have a different cog system. So we have a strong cog, a flat cog, and a standard cog. So for you, we would say, we'll put you in a green dot cog. It's gonna start off like a 1/2 degree, just
Stronger.
in neutral, stronger.
Yeah.
And then I can crank it down another 2, so that'll buy you 2.5 degrees of loft.
So we could really get that thing down.
You can really get it down.
Interesting.
And just for the folks at home, our cogs, when they talk about lie angle, like a flat cog, for example, it's got nothing to do with turf interaction. You're not interacting with the turf. It's all for start lines. And I was talking to Ian a little bit about this before we started. It's kind of an interesting note. On Tour, the first thing that they look at is start line. Before they look at spin, ball speed, any of that stuff, is where's the ball starting? And it's in reference to the middle line. And in fitting, that's important because that's what makes a good golf course driver. If it starts on the same line every time, then you got something. You as a fitter can work from there, right?
Yeah, we can shape up, down, left, right, wherever we need to. But if it's on the right start line, we've got something to work with.
Then you're not going down the right path at least. So, when we talk about the cogs, for example, it's usually to complement a start line or for a player that's going longer. That green cog works for guys at like 46, 47-inch drivers. If they hit up on it, if you hit up on it 6, you can mitigate some of that launch by cranking the loft down.
And let's make a little mental note, you and I, to once you get back to Toronto and we have a day where we can get in the bay, let's put those 3 cogs to test.
Oh yeah.
Right. Let's get that head going, up and down that way, and let's start talking about dynamic lie angle and start lines and how we need face angle at a certain tilt in order to create the right balance between curve and start line.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
It's an interesting thing. The biggest measure of stability in my mind is start line. So if you have a driver that's stable, if you hit it out of the heel, it should start left.
Yeah.
It shouldn't start straight, it should start left. If you hit it out of the toe, it should start right 100%. And then start to come back. Some of our drivers didn't do that. You hit it out of the toe, it starts straight and dive left and vice versa. So all of our heads across the board, our Tour heads and our retail heads have really, really killer start lines across the face, which I thought was, it's a cool feature, right?
It really is, it really is. This is a special little one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's talk about the Cannonball.
I kind of call this the little ninja head. So it's the Triple Diamond S. So Xander Schauffele, Minwoo Lee's testing this head, Siwoo Kim. So it's a 440cc footprint. It's literally the little brother of the Triple Diamond head. And the reason why they made this, and the S stands for speed, it's not for small. It swings a little faster because it's a smaller head, but it's the most responsive of all the heads that we have. So for players that like to shape it and keep the spin down, this is the head that they lean towards. So, Xander's a shot shaper, so he likes to hit it left to right, right to left, high, low. It's easier to do it with this head, just like the old school heads.
Yep.
It's just a nod to go down to to the smaller head system. Gives players a little bit more places to go as far as shape is concerned, and that's literally all it was designed to do. It's it's just as forgiving as the bunch, but it's just smaller footprint, good looking head. Kind
of the blade of the bunch. If you're looking to you to be the person that dictates the start line, you take away a little bit that MOI, like you say. The longer toe to heel does stabilize the face a lot. So you've kind of lost a little bit. That's more kind of compact all around.
Yeah, whenever you have a shorter heel to toe, like if you look at a muscle back blade, right, a really short blade, if the toe's sticking up and it's short, the face is going to rotate.
That's it.
So for players They like that because they want to be able to know that they can turn it over. If the blade's too long, it doesn't look like it's going to turn over. Same things apply with drivers. But one of the cool things that I didn't tell you, on tour, because I get this a lot, that the tour drivers are faster, and I get this all the time. They're not. So I'm going to dispel that rumor right now. So the faces on tour, we have heavier, thicker faces on tour. So when you get a brand new tour issue head, it's going to start slow. And the reason why is because we're out on tour. A lot of our players will say they play the same driver all year, and they'll wear the face out within 2-3 months. So like John Rahm, for example, played the same Epic Speed driver from November of 2020 all the way until November of last year, until he got this one. And his ball speed went up as the year went on, and it wasn't because he got stronger, it's because the face got hotter, because he was beating the middle of the face in. So we have to make our faces stronger and thicker. One, it helps with the head weight, and then the second thing is just like logistically, you can't replace heads constantly.
100%.
So that's why. So they start off slower. So if you want to know if our drivers are faster on the truck, they're not. They're slower.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Tiger talked about that years ago. You know, if he said he couldn't control the hot heads, he had to have his heads always dialed back a little bit. Same idea. And when you're dealing with those extreme speeds, at thousands, you know, hundreds of thousands probably at the end of the year, and repetitions into those heads, then they don't want them to crack.
No.
You know, they would rather have the same driver all year rather than a few extra yards from nudging the CT up a couple of points.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and I'll give you guys a little nugget on how it works, because I get this question a lot too, is when we launch a new driver, like what's the process of getting our staff into the new driver? So basically the process works is, you know, you'll see that sticker on there and all these numbers that are on, is they'll match the new head apples to apples against the old head. Weight, lie, everything's exactly, use the lasers and all these little tricks to do that. And at that point, they'll do a kind of like a combine, apples to apples. And if they find any deficiencies, they don't touch anything until there's a glaring tile on TrackMan or whatever that shows that something needs to change. Other than that, like in some cases, like with Taylor Gooch, it was literally pop one head off, pop the other one on, and he's had the same driver since RSM, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool to see. It's been obviously, on tour, it's been a really strong start. We've had a really strong start at retail. I'm sure you're hearing that everywhere you go with Brian and, you know, everyone that you talk to at retail with Callaway product.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I mean, I think we didn't have this, I mean, it's okay saying this, we didn't have the splashiest story. You know, it's not a new this or a new that, it's not a new widget, it's just a good driver. And I think we've had, this is the best golf course driver Callaway's ever made, and I like to use that term because there's a difference between a fitting bay driver and a golf course driver.
A launch monitor monster.
Sure, and we talk about that all the time, and these new drivers are, I think over the course of the year, people are gonna see how special these things are. Like they're really good.
Love it, love it. All right. Amigo,
that's all I have. I got no saliva left.
You're
I've been talking so much.
We're going to do more of this, though. We are going to do more. There's much more to talk about. This is just a little starter on the drivers. You were hitting some of the fairway woods. You've got a little special fairway wood. We're going to do more with those.
We'll get into those,
Yeah, we'll kind of give those their day. We're going to do putters together. We're going to do it all.
We've been wanting to do this for so long, and now we're going to do it.
We're going to do something. We had to get something in the books.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, pal, appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Guys, stay tuned. Let us know. We want to hear your ideas. What would you like to hear from Johnny in terms of the kind of stories from tour? They can go to your blog.
Yeah, you can go to the CallawayGolf.com/World of Wunder website, or Johnny_Wunder on Instagram.
Yeah, you can go find that stuff. Incredible kind of interaction on Instagram. You do your lives all the time. So if anyone wants to know anything about these in deeper detail, maybe they picked one up and were fortunate enough to get one on eBay or whatever it would be, and want to know a little bit more about it, you're the man. Yeah, the lives are the good. If you wanted some like serious nuggets, go on a live, and that's when I'll share. I'll overshare on the live. So, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.